name is Mark C., and my title is the Director of Bands at Suffolk County Community College. Well, my backstory about how I got into this is that I always kind of knew I wanted to be a teacher from around grade 5. I had a very, very powerful and influential grade 5 teacher. So I knew at that point I was going to be a teacher. The only question was whether to be high school or elementary school. And then I decided I was going to be a high school teacher. And then at that point, the question was, what would benefit students more? Do students need a teacher who is good at what they teach, or do students need a teacher who is passionate about what they teach? And at that point, around grade 12, I decided erroneously that it would be better for students to have a teacher that was good at what they do. I graduated and I taught high school music for 11 years. And then at that point, I was around my mid-30s and I was deciding, I kind of realized I always want to get a doctorate and teach at a college, university level. And if you don't leave by your mid-30s, it's going to be kind of too late. Especially, I was single at the time, no kids. And so, now's the time to go. So I left high school teaching and went to get my doctorate degrees. And then I did a lot of graduate work. And here I am at Suffolk. The students at Suffolk come from a very wide and diverse background. The range of skills is really the widest I've ever had and taught in my entire life. We often have young students come straight from high school and they're hoping to transfer into 4-year programs. But we also have adults and we also have military vets. Some of my favorite students, I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but some of the students I really enjoy teaching are probably students in their 30s and the 40s who already lived and established a career, and they have young children, but they felt unsatisfied. They felt kind of like they were cornered into a certain position and they want to come back to Suffolk and redo it properly. I've had some students who were former Suffolk students and did apparently, in their own words, not so well, and they want to redeem themselves. And they come into my class and they are knocking it out of the ballpark, just 100%, 100%, 100%. They're just acing every single test, taking notes, just asking questions, and just a profound model to everyone else. This is how you do school. We also have a lot of first-generation college students, which is very, very exciting. My parents were first-generation college students, so I can really empathize and appreciate how brave it is to do such a thing, and at the same time, what kind of a struggle it can be. The music department is currently trying to expand our offerings and to help create a more seamless transition from our 2-year program into a 4-year program. We are currently developing 3 courses. We have one in composition, one in kind of music around the world, and also music education. And I also find it kind of a challenging to be reaching out for students who are at risk, particularly during the pandemic when a lot of students were forced online into an online learning environment, and that is not what they signed up for originally, and it's not the way that they thrive. I myself, I'm taking an online course about grant writing in the summer, and I'm a guy with 5.5 degrees, and it is hard. It is so profoundly hard to stay on top of your readings. It is profoundly hard to participate in the discussions when you have to create your own thread and then have people respond to your thread and respond to their responses and then respond to someone else's original thread. That can be very, very taxing. So I can really empathize with how challenging it is for students. So one of those problems is for me as a teacher is reaching out to students, sending them emails and saying, hey, how's it going? Are you doing all right? What can I help you with? Trying to kind of create other opportunities to replace what would have been office hours. Although I majored on the alto saxophone, my favorite instrument is actually the trumpet. When I was in school, I'd be playing the saxophone and, in the band and the jazz band. And sometimes we had good lines, like good melodies and good solos. But I noticed that always the trumpet had better lines and better solos. I was like, I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy in the jazz band that's screaming their notes right above the band. I love that line. I love that sound. And so I spend all my time playing trumpet nowadays, although my main instrument is the saxophone. My favorite flavor of ice cream is mint chocolate chip. Every year, my parents used to get me Baskin Robbins mint chocolate chip ice cream cake with like, it's got like that fudge layer on top. And that is what actually makes it really good. If you just got mint chocolate chip ice cream, that's good. But you lose that chewy texture from that fudge. And that's what made it good. And then you kind of, so big, right? So you have your birthday, and then every day you take a little slice of it, and it'll take you like a couple of weeks, maybe even a whole month before you finish. So you get to stretch out your birthday through that cake. My favorite holiday to celebrate is Christmas, and that is a long and complicated answer, but I'll try to give you the short version. When I was a kid, I used to envision Christmas as a kind of Charles Dickens kind of 1800s kind of a Christmas, with snow falling down on London, England, pound cakes and rice pudding, until I ate pound cakes and rice pudding and I realized they are disgusting. No offense to the Brits, but yeah. And then when I grew older, our families, we have a very close family with uncles and cousins, aunts, and so we got together and we would have great food and great conversation. So I kind of really grew to like that. And now as I'm older, the entire family, our cousins, we've all moved out and spread out. So I'm from Toronto. My brother and cousins are in San Francisco. I'm currently in New York, had other cousins in Chicago. So Christmas is the time that we all kind of come together. We go back home to Toronto and everyone gets to be together for, in person once a year. And we can all appreciate now the difference between seeing each other on Zoom and actually being there in person to see your loved ones. When we all were trapped in our own homes and we couldn't go, we had nothing to do, what were the things that people turned to? People turned to the media that they loved. They turned to Netflix, their favorite movies, their favorite shows. They listened to their favorite songs. That's what they did. People did not spend their time in the pandemic creating experiments, discovering the joys of new life forms, in the park. Although that's wonderful, don't get me wrong, I'm a science guy. And again, the miracles of the vaccine technology is a marvel. But I think sometimes people forget that the sciences, as wonderful as they are in helping sustain life, the arts help give us something to live for. The arts are about the quality of your life. There's a difference between being alive and living a life that's worth living. And that's what the arts are about.